Let me start this video off with one very simple, very powerful sentence. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is one of the most beautiful works of art I've ever experienced. When I say beautiful, I don't just mean it's pretty to look at. Yes, it is a gorgeous game with intricate and brilliant level design, recognizable characters with their own personalities and styles, dangerous enemies that feel both out of place and yet right at home, with a world inspired by Belle Époque France. So yes, in that regard, it is a beautiful game. But when I say beautiful, I mean the experience. I mean a story that could transcend mediums. I mean characters that in a matter of moments make you feel emotions you typically reserve for your favorites. Music that feels otherworldly. Combat mechanics that reward skill and patience. All of these attributes combine to make a game that, need I remind you, was made by a team of around 30 people as their debut title. The excellence of Clair Obscur Expedition 33 cannot be understated. I don't do game reviews. I cannot imagine filling my free time by playing a game I hate just to talk about it for 10 or 15 minutes. I'd much rather discover games like this naturally. And if it inspires me to talk about it, I'm gonna talk about it. That's exactly what this game did. It inspired me. So let's backtrack. If you've never heard of Clair Obscur Expedition 33, what is it? Developed by Sandfall Interactive, Expedition 33 is a callback to classic turn-based RPGs, inspired by the likes of Final Fantasy and Persona. But it takes this formula and twists it in a way similar to the Legend of Dragoon and Paper Mario franchises by adding QuickTime events to the combat, asking players to hit inputs with good timing in order to inflict more damage. On top of this, Expedition 33 also adds various parry and dodge mechanics, taking the formula of turn-based combat and changing it to something more akin to a rhythm game, learning the timings of each enemy's attack and making that split-second decision of whether to choose the wider timing window of a dodge, or to try a more precise parry for counters, or to panic and get absolutely obliterated by a combo you didn't see coming. I've dealt with that last one more times than I can count. I realize as I tell some of you that this game is turn-based, you will turn your head in disgust. Turn-based RPGs are compared to the likes of mobile games like Honkai Star Rail or old outdated systems like pre-13 Final Fantasies. But I think this is probably one of the most interactive turn-based RPGs I've ever played. We've talked about dodges and counters, but you really don't get that same experience watching it rather than feeling it. I played the 30+ hours of this game sitting next to my wife so she could experience it with me, and often she would remark about how watching me dodge and counter would infuriate her, but when she tried it, she got disintegrated in seconds. It's a unique system and almost fully skill-based. You can go through the majority of the game, if not the entire game, completely damageless with precise parries or dodges. Recently, I've been seeing this game compared to Dark Souls, but I don't think that's a fair comparison. Yes, it's difficult, and if you slip up, your whole party could be wiped in an instant, but it always feels avoidable. You as the player have the opportunity to do better. You can learn the patterns, the timings, and when you do, it just feels satisfying. Perhaps it's that same satisfaction that comes when you defeat a particularly challenging boss in a Souls-like game. Maybe that's where the comparison comes from. If you had spoken to me 2 or 3 years ago, I would have had a definitive top 3 list of my favorite games. The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask at number 1, Persona 3 at number 2, and Persona 5 at number 3. Last year, I can safely say that Metaphor ReFantazio knocked Persona 5 out of that number 3 slot. This year, I think Expedition 33 knocked Persona 3 out of the number 2 spot. And let me tell you, it's threatening Majora's Mask. Let's talk a little bit about why Persona 3 is so high. The reason I love Persona 3 so much is that it connected with me at a time when I really needed that connection. I was 19 or 20 at the time, and the symbolism and depiction of death and mortality, those themes within the game, really brought a different outlook to my life. I was a different person after finishing Persona 3. The game changed me. The Sun social link, for instance, is one of the biggest examples of that. Even when I was playing through Reload on stream, I cried on camera because of all the memories rushing back to me after experiencing that social link. It felt like it had launched me back to that decade when I was a different human being and I was playing through it for the first time. When it comes to Expedition 33, I believe it takes those very same themes of mortality and evolves them for a modern age. If there is any one element of this game that strikes me harder than anything else, it's the story. Don't worry, I won't be going into any spoilers. Everything I'm talking about will have been in pre-release media or the first half hour or so of the game. Every year, the denizens of a city known as Lumière must go through what is known as the gommage, a French word that translates to erase or erasure in English. The gommage is initiated by a being known as the Paintress, a woman who sits on the edge of the horizon across a large sea facing Lumière. Every year, the Paintress stands and paints a new number, counting down from the previous one. When this occurs, every human of that age and above vanishes and dies. The expeditions are primarily those who have reached their final year of life, explorers who desire to brave the continent between the Paintress and Lumière in order to stop the gommage once and for all. In the first 30 minutes, we meet three characters. Gustav, who we primarily play as and who is voiced by Charlie Cox of Marvel's Daredevil fame, is a man about to embark on his expedition. Maël, a teenager who Gustav has become the guardian for and who is embarking on the expedition with him early. And Sophie, an old flame of Gustav's who is about to gommage. And in these first 30 minutes, I realized just how special this game was. In the first 30 minutes, the game does an excellent job of making you care for these characters and this world. Even if you speedrun the prologue, you get all of the information I just told you. If you take your time and speak to everyone you can in Lumière, you learn so many more intricacies. There are relationships here from before the game takes place. There's a difference of opinions between people who are celebrating the gommage and those who dread it. It's all exposition, and I hate to call it that because it is so well done, and exposition is typically a nasty word, but it's written so well. Even if it doesn't do much to further the game's core narrative, even if it only serves to enhance the player's understanding of it, it all comes off so natural. There are games that try to do this by shoving it into your face via unwieldy dialogue or expansive text entries in a journal you find. But Expedition 33 strikes this beautiful balance of having it be unnecessary for anyone who simply wants to get into the game itself, yet so much more meaningful for those who want to learn everything they can about this game. And the end of the intro sequence is quite possibly one of the most beautiful scenes I've ever witnessed. Please, if you do nothing else, play the game through to the harbor scene with Sophie. It's maybe an hour tops of your time. This moment not only sold the game for me, it nearly reduced me to tears. The techniques and aptitude on show in the intro sequence are unlike anything I've ever seen in video games. Films and TV shows, yes, you can see the skillfulness of a director or a cinematographer on display, but it's rare you get to see it in the medium of video games. This type of quality lasts throughout the entire game in every cutscene. And that's not even mentioning the absolutely stunning soundtrack. I found myself stopping battles just to listen to the music playing in the background or pausing my exploration of an area just to take in the scenery with the music adding ambience. Oh my god, by the way, these voice performances, they are brilliant. I said before that Charlie Cox is Gustav, who is known for his stage career and acting prowess, but for his first role in a video game, he knocked it out of the park. Jennifer English, who many of you may know as the voice of Shadowheart in Baldur's Gate 3, is absolutely brilliant as Maël. The rest of the voice cast, including Ben Starr, Kirsty Ryder, Shala Nix, and Andy Serkis, are all exquisite in their roles. I said I won't be going into any spoilers, and I mean that, but I want to bring up a scene out of context because of how much it stuck with me due to the performances of the voice actors. It's very early game and it's not very consequential, but I am going to put a warning to skip to this timestamp if you want to avoid anything past the prologue. When you camp for the first time as Gustav alongside one of your party members, Lune, the argument that follows is stunningly well done. Let me play this specific moment for you.
As long as even one of us stands, our fight is not over.
But I'm not afraid to fight, it's just Maëlle, she's...
Maëlle swore the same oath.
I know that!
She chose her life. You and I... Come on, we always said the future of Lumiere is more important than
any individual life, yes.
Do you still believe that? Do you still believe that? Do you?
I hope I do.
This moment is strong, even out of context, and it's due to the combination of the cinematography in the game mixed with the performances from the voice actors. It is extremely hard to have characters overlap in discussion naturally like this in a video game without it feeling forced. And this is not the only time it happens. Every single time they nail it, it feels natural. It feels as if these characters are speaking in a conversation right in front of us, with all the same pitfalls of speaking as you and I would have in the same situation, interrupting one another, speaking with passion. To sum it up in a sentence, these performances don't feel like performances. And that is the biggest compliment you can give to a voice actor. In viewing some behind-the-scenes videos for this game, I found that Sandfall took a reverse approach to voice acting. When the voice actors came to the studio to deliver their performances, the cutscenes had already been mocapped and rendered. The voice actors were able to view the context of the cutscenes they were acting in while delivering their lines, something that is rare if not unheard of in game development. I think this approach changed the direction and context of the performances, helping to make them unbelievably believable. But what really helps these performances shine is the exquisite writing. This might be one of the best written games I've ever had the pleasure of experiencing. The dialogue is brilliant, the pacing is excellent, the story, as I've already talked about, is engaging and emotional. You don't feel railroaded to do something just because. Everything has a reason behind it, or this obstacle that needs to be overtaken. Even the side quests are meaningful. It's all writing that is filled with anxiety and depth, a slow burn of a narrative that is not afraid to dive into aspects of human condition that we rarely get to see addressed in any medium, let alone video games. And there are countless games that have multiples of the elements that I have described, but it's an absolute rarity to get a game that has every single one of them in the same experience. The best word that comes to mind is in the title of this video: excellence. I believe Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is a project of excellence. It is an industry-breaking piece of art that shatters any expectations anyone could have had for a team of around 30 developers. It is a masterpiece that defies the boundaries of the current state of gaming, being sold for less than retail price, with launch sales dropping the game to $45 US, with availability on Xbox Game Pass day one. A fully single-player experience without monetization or live service. This game sold 1 million copies in the first 3 days, and that's not including Xbox Game Pass players. As of this writing, with over 6,000 ratings, the game holds one of, if not the highest, user-rated score on Metacritic in history. This game had the actual current sitting president of France congratulating the boldness and creativity of this studio. In my opinion, it is worth the hype. It is not perfect. No art piece ever is. You can call it recency bias, you can call it an archaic system, call it a hot take, call it whatever you want. But I believe this video game is an act of love. A love from a development team who took an idea of theirs and nurtured it, fostered it before releasing it into the cold, hard world. And in that world, our world, their love thrived. To Sandfall Interactive, thank you for creating Clair Obscur Expedition 33. To the ones watching this video, thank you for listening to my rant on the excellence of Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I love you all, and please take care.